Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where business owners and professionals publish to grow their businesses and to leave a legacy. We're doing a series of spotlights on remarkable people, places, and things across the country and in your town. On this segment, joining me is Fernando Sustaita. How do you pronounce your last name, Fernando?
Actually, you did it right.
Did I? Sustaita?
Yes.
So Fernando Sustaita, he's
Yes.
the founder of printondemanduniversity.net. He's an e-commerce seller and a coach. Fernando, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit about printondemanduniversity.net and the folks that you serve.
Well, everything started as I was an e-com seller for many years. I started in 1998 when it was an eBay. Then I went into corporate, and I always had the little thing that I wanted to go back to own my own business. I came back, I started selling on Amazon, and one day, about 5 years ago, somebody invited me to give a little talk about something that I was doing in Amazon that was called Amazon Custom, because nobody was really doing it. And then they invited me to open a group. And before I really knew, I was helping people do print on demand. One thing that led to another, and I started having courses. And one day I said, you know what, I need to consolidate all these courses because I had it all over the place. I was doing this more like a hobby kind of way. And before I realized, I had over 500 people taking one or other of my courses. And I was like, okay, I am responsible now of a lot of people's futures and successes. You can start taking my word, and they're paying for it. So let me put everything in one place and make it organized. And that's what I decided. I said, okay, let's open the printondemanduniversity.net website, and have a Facebook group to support everybody here and help them grow, their e-commerce business, but now with a more serious coaching approach based on my experiences of how I've been doing for the past 20 years in the e-commerce, world.
Terrific. So you're helping folks get into and grow their print on demand business. Let's kind of explain that a little bit further. When you talk about print on demand, for folks that aren't totally familiar, you're talking about physical products. Can you explain that some more?
Yes, one industry that has grown a lot in the last year because of COVID has been, e-commerce, right? And a lot of people come every day into e-commerce looking to ways to sell something without having to spend money on inventory, because right now money is tight. So print on demand what requires is a set of knowledge, right? How to make a product listing either on in any platform you pick. It could be Amazon, it could be Etsy, it could be your own standalone store in the internet, like using a platform like Shopify. But what it is you use a third-party supplier. You design something, you can, outsource the design process from somebody, in Asia or in South America for literally pennies on the dollar, and you can create a product on sale. So let's say you want to do a shirt and you create this beautiful unicorn, you design, you put it in the shirt, and you list it on Etsy. Somebody comes, makes the purchase, and when that purchase happens, that purchase is sent to your supplier. Your supplier gets the shirt, prints your design, packs it, ships it, saying that you were the seller. It's white label. They say, hey, you bought this from this person, and they shipped it. You get paid immediately, and you pay your supplier. Everybody gets happy. You make some money. You go to the next sale. And that has allowed a lot of people to build a business without having to worry about inventory control, supply processes, having to you learn about shipping and handling. All they have to learn now is some basic customer service, some customer support if necessary, deal with creating a listing and learning about a little bit about design, which honestly is probably the easiest part of the whole process, unless you want to make it yourself and you got to learn some design, right? But it can be always outsourced.
So this sounds like a really ideal business, but I'd imagine if it was so easy, everybody would do it, right? So there's got to be a difference between being successful. There's got to be factors of success versus something that might fail. What do you find, and how do you recommend to people a path of success? What is the difference?
You see, the one mistake everybody makes when they come into this industry is that they go for the noise, right? They follow all these lights, and everybody will tell you, hey, this is what it's selling today, and in shirts and with this design, and everybody goes and copies the same things. They get zero creativity. They put zero neurons into deciding what to sell. They just go and say, oh, this is what I gotta sell. So they invest in design. They come with a copy of the same. So let's say the t-shirt with the design was selling 1,000 units a week, but now you have 1,000 sellers selling the same product. Well, each one is gonna sell one, right? And then it's like, this is not what I was told, and they leave. The ideal is that you find your niche, find what is your passion, find what you understand, and then create products around what around that. There is no better niche than the one that you understand. When you understand a niche, you are in love with what you're making, because you are connected. Like, for example, you like fishing, going to fishing. You like racing, going to racing. Do something that is your passion, because you also have to create eventually. You want to be creating social media content to drive traffic and go into Pinterest and make some Pinterest pin, and go into Instagram and make an Instagram post. But if you hate what you are selling, you are never going to be able to make something with passion. And that is what fails. Research is a must. Okay, not because you think it's pretty. That's another thing that happens in this industry. A lot of people go and they try to sell what they like. Nobody gives a rat's ass about what you like. They what the other people like. You are creating something for the seller, for the buyer, not for you. And a lot of people fall in love with their design. It's like, I really love it. I don't understand why people don't like it. And they put money and money and money on ads and money and effort, stuff like that. And then they fail and they get discouraged and they leave. Well, one of the reasons this business fails is because you fall in love with your product. You have to say, you know what? I'm going to list it. Nobody sells it. They accept it. I'm moving to the next. It's always about the next. And you find that winning product that is going to do a lot of sales. And so it's about really listening to the right people, and really investing on getting to know how the industry works, other than just following the noise. There's a lot of money to be made, but it's also a lot of misinformation, and that makes a lot of people fail and lose interest in this industry.
Yeah, let's go into that a little bit more, because as you mentioned, this sounds like a really ideal business, because it allows you to explore things that you're passionate about. Because essentially, if you're passionate about something, you can probably be sure there's a great audience out there for it as well. So it's all about the research, as you mentioned. Let's do like a little mini lesson before we go into misconceptions, but like a little mini lesson. I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship and business, and like, say, this design right here, this local business rescue team. If I wanted to build a business around entrepreneurs, that's my audience. I want like inspiring entrepreneurial t-shirts and mugs. What would you advise me to do first? Like the research and design ideas, and where would I go?
Well, the first thing is, okay, not because you like something means everybody likes it, and not because you like something means everybody will buy it. Okay, like, let's put, for example, and this is a very, I don't know if this is PG or not, but this is a very big example. The internet says that, the majority of people watch porn, right? And they have that, right? And the research says that things doesn't sell, but nobody's gonna wear ever a t-shirt saying "I love it," right? It's never. So the research can say, "Hey, this is a huge market," but the market that actually is willing to say that they like it is this small. That niche is going to fail, right? Same thing for professions like, I like those people that do septic tank cleanings. There's probably thousands in the country. And you have all these shirts saying, I love my engineer, I love my, my doctor, I love my, my teacher. You will never see somebody saying, I love my septic tank cleaner. This is something that you have to also make some research, say, okay, would somebody buy it? There might be a huge Facebook group for somebody who does that, but it doesn't mean that those people are going to be looking to do that. Now, there is a lot of dogs, right? People who love dogs. Now, the market is huge. I love my dog. But then you I love my dog, is too broad. Now you got to go into, I love my German Shepherd. I love my French Poodle. I love my, whatever name of, brand race of dog you want to do it. Now you niche down into those specifics. But those audiences can be, very difficult at times, because they love their dog so much that the product you want to sell them is got to really make the connection with them. Like one time, when I was starting, I made a dog yeah, shirts for for horse lovers, so really really well, right? And I said, okay, I'm gonna sell horse shirts, and I had my design horses, and then I put something, and the keyword said, I don't remember what I named the shirt, but I named it something like like a pinto horse or something like that. And people replied to me upset. That is not a pinto. That is something else. And da, 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 da. They were like, the hate was amazing, because I had drawn the wrong horse. I didn't appeal to them. Same thing happens when you go into Second Amendment right, gun control, right? You may be pro, you may be against, or you might be in the middle. But let's say you're against. When you in your mind you think that gun right owners are all these terrorist mind that they all want to do is shoot people and they want to start wars and stuff like that. So your designs are influenced on your this on your idea. So your design say I am pro guns, but then you have a Rambo or you have something like that that is like portraying the wrong deal when the second right amendment people is more about uh, let's believe I believe in the right to hold, I believe the right to defend myself, I believe they have peaceful ideologies in their head when in regards of guns, nothing to do with the other side that people think. Guess what, you're not going to sell any, they're going to be offended. So but if you're a pro gun and you sell to the people who sell pro gun, guess what? They're gonna buy it because you understand how they connect to their right and how they connect to their guns. Same thing for hunting, same thing for fishing. You are, vegetarian, a PETA, and you start making, like let's go hunting. You're gonna have some very crude ideas of how they do. Understanding your niche is the number one reason people fail or succeed in this business, and that is a must.
So is there a bulletproof way to find, you're looking for evidence that something similar has sold in the past, is that right? Or how do you really have a bulletproof way to know that this niche could work? Is it testing or is there evidence?
Well, of course, it's always testing, but yes, you can go on and run through. There's so many different softwares for every different platform. Like in Etsy, something called eRank. You can go and search how your niche is doing and how many people search for that specific product in that specific niche. In Amazon, there are so many different tools that you can go and do market research, and you can get rank how many items per day are sold on this niche. Same thing for eBay. All these little platforms have different ways to test how things are done. Then you have Google Analytics that you can go and search, okay, how many people search for the word unicorn t-shirt, and you can search the word, and Google will tell you this is the amount of people that come every year or every day search for this word. So you can tell the idea if there is traffic for it. There is ways to find out if your idea is actually something. Now you go and say, how many people look for something rare, weird, and you say, okay, 2 people search for this a year. You know that is not going to be a good niche. I mean, and so you say, okay, thank you very much. I will back off from this. But the rule of thumb is, when you're starting, you go broad and you start looking. But it takes, as anything in business, it takes time and effort. Now, I know it's free, to start a business like this, but you gotta put some hours into
Mhm.
learning the business.
Fernando, you've become an e-commerce expert and a coach, and you're clearly passionate about the subject. W- What inspired you to get into it to begin with? How did you get started?
I'm a toy collector. you know, I I mean, of course, everything, right? I was a kid of the 70s, 80s, and I'm the sixth of eight. So my house was always about, you know, we were so many kids and toys were always hand-me-downs. And I was a huge Star Wars fan. And every time I got my Star Wars hand-me-down, they were missing limbs or they were missing something. So I had 3 older brothers, so, and I will get some myself, for Christmas and stuff like that. But it had my huge army of incomplete figures. So, in the 95, when I went to college, Star Wars released these new wave of toys because they were about to celebrate the 20th anniversary in 97, and they were releasing all these toys. And I was hooked on buying toys. In 98, eBay comes and, and I start selling people selling toys. And I started buying like crazy. And then I said, okay, this is not logical. So I started selling myself some of the toys because I was living at that point in the south border with Mexico. And if I crossed the border, I could go to Mexico and buy action figures in Spanish for Star Wars collectors. And that became a huge hit, on eBay. So I started selling toys. And honestly, every single time that I needed money during my next 15 years, in 2003, I got married, and my wife, I'm sorry, 2005, I got married, by 2003, got engaged. And my wife tells me, you want to get serious, get a corporate job because we need insurance, we need this, because we want to start a family. So I said, okay, I'll go, I want to get a job. And every time we needed money, it was always e-commerce that got me the money, right? And $10,000 that I needed, out of the blue because the roof, okay, let me go sell something. So I always told my wife, I need to go back to this. I like it. I'm good at it. Even though in corporate, I made it to senior, contract management, and you can go on my LinkedIn and look at it. And I was making 6-figure salary. I never really enjoyed it. I've always felt trapped. And it's something that I always try to help people, when they come into coaching, they always tell me the same. I feel trapped in my job in different levels. Some people feel trapped already in entry level. Some people are already in their 40s or 50s, and they're like, man, I just want to start enjoying life. I want to be able to do this on the road. And one of the beautiful things about print on demand is that you don't need to be stuck in an office, a laptop, and you can I have a lot of people that do the RV life, that literally they travel around the country and they park outside of Lowe's, they get Wi-Fi, and they load their products, they check their orders, and then they go again on the road again, and they afford a very nice living just traveling by selling print on demand products.
Absolutely fascinating. And you also inspired me. I just realized that I sell courses in certain niches to folks, and I'd imagine I could add a product line to sell items to even generate leads for that coaching business, that's absolutely related. So many applications to this. Fernando, this is fascinating. I know people in my own family that I'm going to refer to you to learn Print on Demand University, especially because I just think that's something that they should do. And retired folks, that people that are retired, this is an ideal business. Work from a laptop, work from home, anywhere in the country. Fernando, for our listeners out there that can resonate with this and definitely would like to learn, how do they connect with you and learn more?
You touched the retired people. Used to add to that, about 40% of the people that I coach are over 60 years old. Okay, it's somebody who is like, hey, I'm approaching retirement, I'm already in retirement, and they're like, I want to make enough money to have, not to worry about my 401k, not to worry about unemployment, Social Security, and they are making $4,000 to $5,000 every month. You just doing this with some hours on investment, and so this is something that is good for somebody still in college. My daughter, who's 13, has her own print on demand store. So and as I said, my oldest client is 86 years old, and she's selling, products on Etsy. It's just the way it is today. And I'm sorry, I got lost in that thought and I forgot.
Oh yeah, how do people connect with you? Where do they find you?
Well, of course, the Print on Demand University.net, that is my website. But if not, you can always find me on Facebook, Fernando Sustaita. And I feel free to connect there. I'm pretty sure you're gonna probably put some links in, at the bottom of it. You can find me there, and just message me on Facebook. I have a couple of free Facebook groups. One is called the Mastering Print on Demand group. The other one is called Etsy Success Secrets, in case you want to go in different directions. Because in Etsy, I teach also not only print on demand, I also teach how to do printables, which is another area of opportunity. And there's a lot of people that want to sell on Etsy, they want to sell their handmade products. And it's also about selling those stuff. So there, you can find me. You Google right now Fernando Sustaita, I'm literally like the first 3 pages. There is no other, my name is not very common. So
I appreciate that. Fantastic. This has been terrific information, Fernando. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with my audience, and I wish you continued success for you, Print on Demand University, and for all of your students and clients.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. I mean, something I really like is helping people get in starting a business. A lot of people help me get where I am, and it's the way of paying forward. I mean, I believe that you can go use as far as you can by yourself, but if you want to get jumps and start getting bigger, you need to have people to help you along the way, and Print Demand is very rewarding in that way.
That was Fernando Sustaita, ladies and gentlemen, e-commerce seller and coach, founder of printondemanduniversity.net. This segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals publish to grow their businesses and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for tuning in.